Hey everyone, welcome back to the garden. If you're new, then welcome, and if you are not new and you are returning, then welcome back. Zeke, come over here and get out the way. Okay, so this video is going to be about succession planting and starting seeds in June. If you are, whether you are succession planting a second crop, succession planting is basically planting again, okay? You can do a succession crop of quick maturing plants. For instance, radishes. Radishes mature most times within 30 days. So every couple of weeks, if you have other spaces to plant them, you can alternate spaces and plant radishes over here, and then harvest your radishes from over here, plant again, and then by the time these are ready to harvest, plant again, and then these are ready to harvest, plant again, and so on and so forth. You can do the same thing with a few other crops. You can succession plant beets, you can succession plant beans. There are tons of varieties of plants. So there are quick maturing plants, there are long maturing plants. Basically, you just have to read your seed packages to know how long it takes for that seed to come to maturity and whether or not you'll have enough time in your growing season to grow that crop. Which brings me to my next point. It is the 29th of June. I'm in zone 5. I still have 104 days left before my first frost, okay? So right now is the time when you want to start figuring out when is your first frost date going to be here. I know, it's June. The summer garden is just now getting started to flourish, but we have to prepare for the fall. All right, but before I get to that, I wanted to give you guys a list of some short maturing varieties and plants that you can be planting now in June. If you haven't started your garden yet, it is not too late, okay? And if you have started your garden and things are not looking the way they should, it is not too late to start again, okay? Some things that we overlook, some crops that we overlook are potatoes. People think that potatoes have to be planted in the spring and then you get your harvest and they don't grow in the summer, but that's not true. Potatoes don't have that type of restriction on them. You can plant potatoes now, okay? You can plant a fast maturing variety of potato. You can get a harvest before the frost, okay? So yes, you can plant potatoes now. You can also start more tomatoes. If you think your tomatoes are stunted, if they've suffered from the cold snap that we had and they just have not recovered, if they have blight, if they have some other type of bacteria, wilt or what have you, you can pull those out and you can start again. It will take time, yes. It will take time and it will take waiting and it will take patience. Unless you can find some starts at a local nursery or somebody local that's selling them. But it's not too late to start from seed. Just take a look at how many days you have left to grow, and you should be able to get a harvest of tomatoes before your first frost. Another thing that does well planting now in June is broccoli. A lot of people think that you have to plant broccoli in the early spring, and it's not true. Broccoli doesn't have to be planted in the early spring, although it can be planted. But those temperature swings from 40 degrees to 70 degrees, and that big fluctuation in temperatures, broccoli doesn't like that. Okay, and that's a lot of times why broccoli suffers during the spring. But you can plant broccoli now, and you can have a harvest and better success now for right before the frost. Okay, another thing you can succession plant now is peas, and preferably snap peas, not so much shelling peas, but snap peas. You can definitely plant snap peas now. And a lot of people think that you can't plant peas in the summer because it's too hot. Well, it's basically, it's the soil temperature that matters, okay? To most plants, it's the soil temperature. So as long as your soil temperature is good, peas will thrive, and keep them well watered, and keep picking off of those peas so that they keep producing. You can plant a succession planting of peas. Another thing you can succession plant is bunching onions. Bunching onions are not like bulbing onions, and they don't take nearly as long to mature. So you can plant bunching onions now as well. A lot of them mature within 45 to 50 days, and that's plenty of time to get a harvest before the cold gets here. Feels like it might be getting ready to start raining on me. Let me hurry up with this video. All right, so let me give you a quick list of some things that you can still plant in June. And I also have some information on starting your fall vegetables. I know that it's middle of summer and things are booming, but we have to plan ahead. And the only way to do that is to start those seeds indoors, under lights preferably if you have them. And it's starting to rain. So we're gonna move this into the sunroom maybe? We'll see. Okay guys, well, I had to move to the front porch, and I know that the lighting is so bad here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead on. I'm going to give you guys the list of things that you can plant. These are all short maturing varieties right now in June. Now, if you're in zones 5 and 6, you want to do these, get these things started right now. And if you're in zones 7 and 8, you might still have a little extra time. But like I said, I'm in zone 5, and my last frost date, I believe, is October 11th, and I still have 104 days left. So with that in mind, you can do tomatoes. I've already mentioned tomatoes, short maturing varieties like cherry tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, or even some medium-sized sliced tomatoes. Early Girl is a good variety. Juliet, those take like 50 to 60 days. Super Sweet 100s are always really good. They are very productive. So yeah. Second thing on the list is summer squash, and you want to do short maturing varieties that are 60 to 70 days. Bush beans, always a good thing to succession plant bush beans because they're quick maturing. They're about 60 to 70 days. Herbs, most all herbs are good to plant now. You can plant those and still get a harvest. Corn, you have to be specific in your corn with a short maturing variety of 60 to 70 days. Winter squash is risky, but you might be able to get it to maturity if you choose small varieties that are 60 to 70 day maturity. Melons are the same way. If you can do small melons that mature quickly, pushing it to maybe 80 days, you might be able to get a good harvest out of that. Sweet potato slips are really good to do right now. Cucumbers are good. Onion, not seed, but sets. Onion sets, you can do some onion sets. and still be able to get a nice harvest. Summer crisp lettuce. There are lots of heat tolerant varieties of summer lettuce that you can plant. So you can do lettuce. Turnips. You can do turnips now. You can do kale. The kale's not going to be as tasty as it would be if it was in the cool weather, but you can still get a kale harvest. Swiss chard, collards, all of those, yes. Now, I am going to put in the description a link, okay, for a summer-fall planting schedule, okay? This is just like the spring planting schedule that I shared with you guys. I'm going to do this summer-fall planting schedule, okay? Now, all you have to do is select File and make a copy, okay? You don't have to ask for permission to access it or anything like that. Click the link. When it opens up, select File and then make a copy. Or you can select File, and then you can download it as a Microsoft Excel. Either way, it's up to you how you want to do that, but you can make a copy of it for yourself. You don't have to request access to the document, okay? I get a lot of emails that are requesting access to the document, but you don't have to do that. Click the link. When it opens up, go to File and then select Make a Copy, okay? Now that's going to make your own copy, and then up here in the corner, you'll be able to put in your first frost date. See, mine is 10/11. I don't know if that's coming in backwards or not. So my first frost date, is October 11th. So this is going to give me all of the things that can be planted during the summer, and it's also going to give me the window of opportunity that I have to plant them, okay? So this is a really good tool for you guys. This is going to help you guys out a lot in succession planting and also planning for your fall garden. So some things that we can start indoors right now for the fall garden is broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, kohlrabi, Brussels sprouts, collards, and some Asian greens. Now, there is a rule of thumb when you are starting your fall garden. So there's a little bit of a calculation that you need to do, and I will share that calculation with you right now. First of all, you want to get your first frost date, okay? That's your starting point. Your starting point is your first frost date. So what you want to do is you want to count backwards from your first frost date 6 weeks, okay? So 6 weeks backwards from your first frost date, that's the date that you will be transplanting your seedlings outside for the fall garden, okay? 6 weeks from your first frost date. Then, from that 6 weeks, count back another 8 weeks, okay? 14 weeks from your first frost date is when you will be starting your seed, okay? That's when you know when you can start your seed for your fall garden. 14 weeks from your first frost date is when you will start your seed for your fall garden. Start those indoors, preferably under some lights, and let those grow and mature for 8 weeks. Make sure that you start them in containers that are going to be big enough to hold them for 8 weeks, okay? Not those little 4-pack cells, because those are not going to be big enough. You're going to have to up pot your little seedlings after a while, and they're going to be getting too big. make sure that you're starting your seeds in some containers that are big enough to hold them for 8 weeks, okay? Like 3-inch or 4-inch pots. Then after your 8 weeks, you can transplant them out into your garden for fall, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I can answer any questions that you have about starting your fall seeds or starting your fall garden, or perhaps even starting your summer garden right now in June. Another thing that I forgot to mention was Malabar spinach. That is another, and carrots and beets. Those all can be planted right now in June for a succession planting. But there are, and that's just a short list, you guys. There are tons of other things that you can be growing right now. There are even heat-tolerant spinach varieties that if you have a shady part in your garden, you can probably get away with trying to grow some of those. But that's just the short list that I have for you guys today. And like I said, if you have any questions about the fall planning or the planning tool, then leave them in the comment section below, and I can answer any questions that you might have. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got something out of it, or if you think that it was informational or educational, or that it could help somebody out, or that it helped you out, then please, by all means, give it a thumbs up. And until next time, the more you know, the more you grow. Bye, guys.